Truth hurts when you ain't ready. Growth leads you somewhere better. So take your time, relax your mind. It's alright, yeah. It's alright, yeah. It's alright, yeah, yeah. It's alright, yeah. It's alright, yeah. It's alright, yeah, yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. We are back at it again. I am back and better than ever. If you're new here, my name is Bridget Mashonganyika, aka Bella, orphaned at 3 months old, grew up in the orphanage, and now advocating for the orphans as well as telling my story. So if you like what I'm about, please like, share, and subscribe. That helps with the growth of this channel. Also, leave your comments. I would really love to read your comments, and I would love your feedback. So without further ado, let's get into the video. And today's video is titled Life After Orphanage Part 3. Life After Orphanage Part 3. So let's get into it. So if you watched the previous video, you now know where we at. At this moment, I was leaving Zimbabwe for South Africa, and I was going all the way to Cape Town at 19, and I was determined to do anything that I could for me to earn something so that I could further my studies. So I was going to Cape Town from Zimbabwe, and I was to stay with this lady I knew from the orphanage. And the journey for me from Zimbabwe to Cape Town was very nice, though I was delayed because the bus died at some point and I was delayed with a day. But seriously, I enjoyed the journey, and the views, the scenery was just so perfect, and the roads are so okay. And I was in Intercap, Intercap is a luxurious bus, so obviously I enjoyed it. So, when I got to Cape Town, I got the job within a week. I got a job. I was making biltong, and I was actually earning more at that time. That was 2017, and I was getting 4,100 rands, and that was going to allow me to serve for school. And my goal was for me to go back to Zimbabwe by September. So there was February to September. I thought I would have saved enough since I got the job. I thought I would have saved enough for me to go back to school, and I would have even bought like all the things that I needed for me to go to school with. So I thanked God that I got the job, and I didn't think that anything could go wrong. I thought, oh wow, this is the dream that I wanted, and now we are going to go back to school. So obviously now, I'm working, and then towards the month end, I hit another mishap. So now the lady that I was working with was like, Bella, I need your money. I'm like, oh, okay. And then she's like, yeah, I need to go back to Zimbabwe. I need to get to visit in Zimbabwe. And I'm like, you know what? Are you going to be giving back the money? And then it's like, no, I actually want your money to use it to go to Zimbabwe. And I'm like, no, I can't, because I'm here because I want to apply for a scholarship. And the scholarship that I want need me to have a certain amount of money, and that is why I'm here. I want to save enough for me to be able to apply for the scholarship. And then she's like, you know what, if you're not going to give me the money, then you are to leave my house. And then in my mind I thought, you know what, I'm working, and the money that I'm earning, I can just rent a small room, a cheaper one, and just buy the basics that I need. I didn't even need to buy furniture. I just needed to have just few things for me to be able to survive, because most of my time I was spending it at work. So I'm like, you know what, I will leave. I'll look for a room, and then I'll leave. Thank you so much for the time I spent with you. And then she was angry. She's like, I need you to give me the money for the food that you're eating, because the first month I didn't buy any food and I didn't pay for any rentals. So she's like, I want all the money, rentals. And then she calculated and then she took 750 rands from the money that I got from work. And then after that, like, say all this happened today, right? And then the following day I go to work. And then when I got to work the following day, it was only Saturday. I remember vividly. So, you know, I went to work, and then when I got there, it was only Saturday, so we were going to knock off at 1 o'clock. And then we were done by 1 o'clock. And then when we were about to leave, my boss called me and the supervisor. Something in me, like, my intuition told me that something was about to go wrong. So he called me and then he's like, we sat on the table, and then he's like, Bella, unfortunately, we have to let you go because I'm going to close one of my shops because it's not doing well. You know, I it felt like I was hit by something that was so heavy, and I was confused. Like, I was confused, and I'm like, I loved that job. Seriously, I loved that job. It was comfortable. I was working with men mostly, and only one lady who was actually more like a mother to me. So obviously, you know, I really wanted the job, and I enjoyed being there, and it was giving me enough money for me to, apply for the scholarship that I wanted. So now I'm told that I'm supposed to leave because they are closing the shop, because us would make the biltong, right, and then they'll then take the we would then take the biltong, and then they'll take the biltong to their shops where they would sell them. So now they wanted to close one of the shops. So they're like, you know what, we've been working for this lady for a long time, so we can't let her go and keep you here because it's just been a month since we started working with you. My eyes were teary. I cried, guys. I cried. I'm like, why is this happening? At home, kuneoma problems, and then at work, I'm told this. And yet I thought, I was finally going back to school. So I told the boss, and I'm like, you know what? I'm about to be homeless right now, and you're telling me that you no longer have work for me. Isn't there anything that I can do so that I just keep this job for me to be able to survive? And then he's like, no, Bella, we really have to let you go. But what I can do for you is to give you enough money for you to pay your rentals for only this month, and then after this month, if there is anything, we'll call you. But if there isn't, we are never going to call you. This is the end. And now I'm like, okay, fine, I will look for a room. And then I told myself that, you know what, yes, there is a setback, but I'm going to get up stronger. And then I said, during this month, I'm going to be looking for a job. So obviously, I got the money, I got a room, and I remember that room, guys. When I got it, it was not even like they were still building it, and they had to paint it. And I remember painting the inside because now I wanted to get my things inside, and then they were saying that they didn't have a specific day they were going to come to paint the room, and also they were saying that sometimes they can just come at any time, and now probably I might not be there, and even when they come I have to take out my things, and then they paint, and then I have to sleep in the room the next day, the same day, and the painting, everything. So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to paint it. And I was helped by someone. Like, there was a guy from Zimbabwe, obviously, who was also like staying close, who helped me paint. And also there was a family that I became close with when I was staying in Cape Town, who also helped me, like, for only like few days I had to be in their home as we prepared the room, and everything, so that I then move in this room. So yeah, that then happened. And then now, after a while, I actually got someone who was also looking for a room, but didn't really afford to, rent a full room. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm alone. We can share the room, and then we share the rentals, and that way it was gonna be cheaper. So she came, and then yeah, we started staying together. But I had to look for a job because the money that I had was not going to last forever. So I had to look for a job. I had to look for a job, and I was determined. And I was going to church with some other ladies, and then I told these ladies my situation, and then they helped me print out my CVs. They helped me like with everything. They even took some of the CVs, and then they're like, "We're going to be sending your CVs out there, and be ready anytime you may get a job." But it still didn't work. It did not work. I waited for forever, and I didn't get a job. But there's this guy from Stellenbosch University. He was a student. He's like, I have a job for her. Like, he told one of the girls that I was going to church with, who was also uh, schooling at Stellenbosch University, but she's from Zambia. So she's like, Bella, my friend has something for you. So tomorrow, if you are able to come, you should come to Stellenbosch. And then I'm like, yeah, I would love that. So obviously now I had to work for this guy. I was doing data capturing for him. And then within 3 days, I was done. And then he's like, Bella, I no longer have anything for you. I thought maybe you were going to do this job for a longer for a long time. But now I no longer have anything. And guys, he gave me 250 rands. To think that where I was coming from to Stellenbosch is a bit far. I was to get in town first and then go to Stellenbosch. It was far, and I was using close to 70 rands for transport. So with these 3 days, I used 70 times 3. I don't know maths. 70 times 3 for me to get to Stellenbosch. And then he only gave me 250. It's more like he just gave me back the money that I used for transport, and I didn't really earn from, you know, working for him. So now it was I was stranded actually. The money that I had, I was using it, and I was almost broke at this time, and I needed to pay rentals for the next month. And there's no way I was going to get money. There's no way I was going to get money. I didn't know many people to ask for help. Plus, sometimes I suffer with asking for help. I struggle with asking for help. So at this time, I'm like, you know what? I knew someone. I grew up in the I grew up with in the orphanage, and she was staying in Northern Cape. Northern Cape, yes. So I had to call her, and I'm like, please help me. I'm stranded in Cape Town. I really need your help right now, because I told her everything that was happening. And then she's like, you know what, Bella, how much do you have? And then I told her, and then she's like, you can come, but that is not going to be enough for for your for transport. And then she's like, I'm going to talk to my friend who is a truck driver to take you from Cape Town. Like, he passes through Northern Cape from Cape Town. So I'm going to talk to him, and then you have to come with him. And I'm like, okay, fine. But he was not. But when I then met the guy, he was not going through where she was staying. So I then had to hike. He helped me hike. I think when I was in Bloemfontein, I think that's when he helped me to hike from there. But I hiked twice, because at first he left me with this other guy who had a pickup, and then that guy he left me with then helped me to hike again, for me to then get to Kimberley, because I was going to Kimberley. I then got a truck driver who then, dropped me in Kimberley, and then I started staying with the sister of mine from the orphanage. And yeah, what happened from there is going to be said in the next video. This is it, guys. If you want to, continue hearing my journey, continue seeing my videos, just subscribe. It's for free. Press on the notification bell so that every time I post, you'll be notified, and like, share. So this is it. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Bella. Why not change your narrative? Why not change your narrative? How do we leave a legacy of hope for those whose dreams are often forgotten? Bye.
Alright, yeah, it's alright, yeah, yeah.